Hello, welcome to our webinar. Welcome to introducing the new Exasol Admin UI. I'm Jürgen Albertsen. I'm a product manager here at Exasol, looking after our platform. And I'm not alone today. I also brought with me Pablo Fadura. He's the tech lead of the development team that made it all happen. All right. Like I said, I want to introduce here the admin UI. It's the first release ever. It's available in Exasol version 8, 2025.1, which is out now, has been out since a few weeks already. And in this first release, we wanted to focus on improving the daily efficiency. So basically, covering tasks of administrators that they do on a daily basis or at least on a regular basis. You will see all this in a demo, but maybe as a quick overview, I'm going to run you through the main features that we have. You can get an overview of your database at a glance, so how the database is doing, some kind of key health KPIs. When you need to troubleshoot, you can go into the logs, browse through the logs, and also search in them. Backups are obviously a very important part of the disaster recovery strategy, so we included also capabilities here to schedule and manage them. And then last but not least, BucketFS is an important feature of Exasol, so we try to make it as easy as possible to manage BucketFS files and folders. Like I said, it's available in Exasol version 8, 25.1. So you need to install it or upgrade to it. If it's a fresh install, so if you have freshly installed from scratch Exasol V8 25.1, the admin UI is already up and running. You don't have to do anything. But if you're upgrading, you need to enable the admin UI manually. We have included a bunch of instructions in our documentation, so you can just follow the link and we will share it after. To follow these instructions, basically a few C4 commands that you have to run, but we didn't want to enable the admin UI by default for security reasons. To then access the interface, you can open a web browser and enter the public IP of any node with the port A443. This is an example. This is actually not the example I'm going to use, but just kind of to show. There's extensive documentation available on our website. Either you Google Exasol Admin UI documentation or you go to this link where everything I'm going to show to you is also documented. All right, let me switch to my browser and let me give you a little demo of our admin UI. So this is kind of the start screen. You have to log in. You have to enter a username and password. I already did that. But once you're in there, you're getting this screen. And what you can see here is at the top area, a list of all databases that are in your system. I only have one. That's why there is only one database. But if you had more than one, then you would see a list of these databases. By default, a kind of overview of the first database is already open. I'm going to close it right now just to highlight it. You can press on this little I button here so you can see how this list would look like with that panel closed. For each database, you have an overview of the name, obviously, whether it's running or not. Then a few icons here, how many active nodes there are, how many failed nodes, and how many reserved nodes, and kind of a high-level overview of the CPU's average usage. You can also start and stop the database. Obviously, I'm not going to stop it because I want to give the demo. And you can also test the connection to see if it's really running. Like I said previously, when you press this little icon, a panel opens that gives you an overview of like key KPIs and key information. For example, you can here see the general health, the CPU and system load, kind of storage KPIs, and also memory KPIs. You can also make them a bit larger because I'm on a smaller screen, so maybe it's not that clear to see. You can also here enable or disable certain KPIs that you want to highlight. There's additional information in this panel, like whether the connection is connectable, the server address, the fingerprint that you might want to use for your connection string, the CPOs for all nodes. You see it's a very small instance. We just are running on one node. But if you had more nodes, all of those would be listed. And you also have an indicator whether these nodes are active. So let me close this again. We obviously want you to be on the latest version as much as possible. So what you can do from this screen is also update Exasol. You press this button. Currently, you have to download the new version of Exasol yourself from our website and then put them in here and to install it. In the future version, we will improve this experience so you get a list of all available versions that you can choose to update. But currently, you have to upload it yourself. So this is about the kind of main screen. There's one more thing to add. Sometimes when you troubleshoot and you don't quite find the root cause of the issue and we should help you, you want to engage our support folks, then it's very good if you could send us a support archive. That's where you press on this button that I just pressed on. The support archive is basically a zip archive that includes key information. And in this screen, you can choose which information to include in this archive. For example, which logs to send, the core dumps, exacluster OS logs, and so on. Which backtraces to send, for example, like for example, for the ETL JDBC jobs. Which database logs to send, like for the SQL processes or the server processes. And then, of course, also filtering for the databases and the nodes. And you can also filter kind of the time range and which specific sessions. I'm not going to press enter here now because it takes a while, and I would just like to continue with my demo. Before I continue, what I actually forgot to show is this is the dark theme that we're running. I think it's quite nice and easy on its eye. But if you prefer, you can in the bottom left corner also switch to the light to the light theme. But like I said, I kind of prefer the dark theme. I just talked about troubleshooting. It's very important for troubleshooting to have access to logs. And this screen, if you go to the left-hand side where we have the navigation and click on logs, you will see a screen where you can show these logs. And by default, when you show, it takes a little while. It's going to show you all the logs that are available in the system. But what you can also do is you can also filter for those. You can kind of select the nodes that you want to extract the logs from. You can select the services that you want to have the logs for. You can also select the log level. Quite often, you probably would want to just kind of include the logs for kind of errors or critical messages. You can also kind of limit the time frame, if you will. And then you can also search for specific string. Let me maybe search for root. Then those items with this string are highlighted. By the way, it also supports a regular expression. And maybe let's filter here for critical messages. It takes a while, but this system is very healthy, so nothing is going on here, or no critical messages are going on there. I talked earlier about disaster recovery strategies, and for that, backups is a vital part. It's very important to have backups. If you go to this item in the left-hand navigation, you can see all the backups that have been done in the past and that are still available in the system. You can filter here for databases that these backups have been made for, or for the volumes that they were created on. I don't have an awful lot, so that's why it's just a few. But it gives you an overview. It gives you a name that includes the date and the time that this backup has been made. The size, the level, so how incremental this backup is basically, when it has been created, when it has been, when it's going to expire, if at all, because you can also configure a backup not to expire. And then also there's an indicator whether this backup is usable or not. When you have a chain of levels of incremental backups, sometimes a backup might not be usable, but that would be indicated here. So how do you actually create backups? You would then go to schedules, and you see here I have a schedule enabled, a daily backup. As the name implies, it will do it on a daily basis. It's currently enabled. It's configured for the database Exasol and the volume 1. The level is 0, so it's kind of the top level backup that we're doing here. You're also seeing the cron expression for that schedule, so when the schedule is going to run. And to make it maybe a little bit easier for those who are not that familiar with cron expression, it is also the schedule is also printed here in a kind of human readable form. It will indicate when it's up next. So it's actually tomorrow at 11 o'clock in the morning, and when it's going to expire. In this case, it's never going to expire. So this is a daily backup, but like I said, backups are very important for your disaster recovery strategy. So it might be a better idea to have a hourly backup. So let's create a new backup, and I'm going to name it hourly. Surprise, surprise. I don't have to choose the database or the volume because I only have one of each. So those are already selected, but I want to increase the level. So basically making this an incremental backup. And when I go to the frequency section here, you see that you have the cron expression broken down into these several fields. And since I want to do it every day at every hour, I'm going to change this here from a 0 to a star, so that it's going to run on every hour. And since my daily backup is already running at the top of an hour, I'm going to change the schedule, the minute frequency to 30. So that whole expression reads on every weekday, on every month, every day, every hour, always at past. I'm going to run this this backup. So maybe these hourly backups I don't actually need forever. So I'm going to change the expiry date from, in this case, let's say 4 weeks. I think it's safe enough. So it does expire and won't be kept around forever in order to save disk space. Please also note that all these times are in the time zone that the kind of server runs on. In case you're in doubt, it's printed here what the execution time zone is. The server runs in the same time zone that I'm sitting, which is in Germany. So it's in Central European Standard Time. So I'm going to press add. And you should see the schedule. Sorry, I had to kind of quickly refresh. Yes, it's here. So we have the name, we have the database, we have the volume, the level, the cron expression, human readable form, and other than the daily backup, it actually does expire. I could also delete it, but I'm just going to keep it running because I want to be really safe that I have a system that is always backed up. And last but not least, let me move on to BucketFS. As you probably know, as Exasol user, BucketFS is a kind of file system that is embedded very close to the database, where you can store your files. The most prominent examples, I guess, are UDFs, user-defined functions, like Python scripts or Lua scripts that run in the database, or JDBC drivers, for example, when you want to use virtual schemas or when you want to access from Exasol to external databases. In the BucketFS browser, you can then browse through the file system. You can look at the files. I don't think this is too surprising. It looks probably like any other file explorer you see. In this Exasol Solution 2025 folder, we have a list of files. We can upload new files. I can select one. Let me choose this one. And you see it's there. And then later I can also delete it. All right, that already concludes the demo. We will have plenty of time for Q&A later. But I want to really go back to my presentation real quick. So as you could see, this is the first version, like I said. We focused really on day-to-day regular tasks, so fairly basic tasks. But of course, we're not going to stop here. So there's plenty of there to come. In the next version, we will include special health dashboards that kind of go beyond from what we have right now in those kind of key KPIs. We will also have an end-to-end update experience where you don't have to previously download Exasol and then upload it in the admin UI to update it. And a very, very big topic is, of course, system config. So we want to allow for in the admin UI to really configure all aspects of Exasol and be able to specify all parameters. Of course, we're also going to make some smaller improvements that are not included here. But these are the main items that you're going to see in the next version. 2025.2 is going to be out in late 2025, so around November, December, and that should include all these capabilities. This concludes this presentation and demo. Like I said, we will have plenty of time for Q&A, but I have 2 calls for action. I would obviously first let you try it out now and let me know any feedback. You can use this email address and send me feedback, send me feature requests that you would like to see. Anything really, I'm really interested in how I'm using it and what is your opinion on the admin UI. If you cannot find this email address, just Google and send to our regular information email address, and then it will be forwarded to me. And last but not least, we have plenty of other webinars coming up. These are just 2 examples of those. Please, if you're interested, scan this QR code. That will show you a link where you can register and some additional information. One is to unlocking your AI excellence, so kind of feature and success stories, whatever our customers done or partners done with our AI capabilities. And then, which I think is very exciting, the revolution of data lakehouses and where Exasol fits in to the data lakehouse strategy. All right, that's from my side. Are there any questions?
Yes, we have some questions. The first one would be, is it possible to make backups to external storage?
Yes, you have to configure that remote volume first, though. That is not included in the admin UI yet. This is something you need to do on the command line. But once this volume is available, then you can also back up to remote volumes.
All right. Next question. Is there info about the backup ID in the backups list?
That's a good question. That's where I actually would like to ask Pablo to take that question. Pablo?
Yeah, not yet, that we are planning on incorporating this information.
Okay, so not yet. It's gonna come. Okay, thanks.
Next one. Does the admin UI support API calls for third-party monitoring tools?
I'm not sure if I get the question, to be honest. So, the API, the admin UI itself is API based. So what you saw is a client that runs basically in the browser, just making API calls to the backend. But I guess that was not the question. So I'm maybe what the question is, and maybe that person could write a follow-up question, is whether we could include additional external KPIs in our dashboards. Maybe that's what the question was. So no, and I'm not sure if that would be the right place. So the typical kind of approach here is to actually have then third-party tools like maybe Dynatrace or others, where all these monitoring KPIs would get in order to give a holistic view. But maybe I'm interpreting the question incorrectly, and maybe that person could elaborate a little bit more.
Yes, while we wait for him to come back, next question. Is it available for on-prem customers?
Absolutely, 100%. It's available. Like I said, download and install 2025.1. And in a fresh install, it's already enabled. In an upgrade, you need to manually enable it for security reasons, but it's 100% available for on-prem.
Right, next one. Does the admin health plots work with multiple nodes, or is it just single node?
No, they do, right, Pablo?
As long as you enable admin UI on each node you want to use, it's multi-node, yes.
Okay, next question, I guess.
Yes, next question. Are schedules created using conf.d displayed in the admin UI?
I would say yes, but I would really like Pablo to confirm.
Yeah, the schedules you create using conf.d should be shown in the UI, and the same way any schedule you create using the UI will be shown when you list the schedules using conf.d.
I mean, at the end of the day, we're just using the same kind of backend capabilities that you would be using from a CLI. So there's no additional magic going on here. Are there any more questions?
Yes, we have more. Do you plan to add the feature of restore from backups in the admin UI?
Yes, but I don't have a time frame, yes, unfortunately. But yeah, this is definitely something that we have on our list.
And last one for now, as far as I can see, is it possible to create or delete buckets or BucketFS?
Not for now.
Pablo, you want to take it? I think you
Yeah,
have.
for now only files can be deleted.
So, like I said earlier, we focused on kind of day-to-day tasks. What is missing currently, but we'll add later, is the kind of stuff that you usually do once in a while, like setting up remote volumes maybe, or setting up new BucketFS services and so on. So that currently you have to do from the command line still. I mean, see the documentation, how exactly it's being done. But in a later version, we want to provide an end-to-end experience, but also this kind of capabilities will be included. Do we have any more questions?
How do you restore a database from a backup using the admin UI?
It's like I said, it's currently not included in the admin UI, so you would have to go to the command line. We have outlined these procedures in our documentation, but in a later version, we're going to add this capability to also restore backups from within the admin UI.
Mm-hmm. Circling back to the monitoring tool question.
Oh, okay.
So they have a standard monitoring tool to track health of different services, and they would like to have the opportunity to get the database and nodes state via an API call.
Okay, the other way around. I get it. I would have to, I mean, I personally would have to get back on this. I would assume that's possible because that should be a standard feature of Exasol. Pablo, maybe you know if we can export health KPIs.
Maybe the easiest way would be to just simply call the same API that we call for checking the database connection, which you showed in the database page, the test button.
And also, by the way, all of these KPIs are available in system tables. So we're actually not doing anything else than querying existing Exasol tables. This should also be documented. So just with a client that can run SQL queries and access those tables, then you should be able to export those KPIs. I guess that was the question.
Yes, more questions coming in. Can you see the BucketFS from the access node too?
I don't think so. Pablo, can we?
No, you would need to add to connect to admin UI through a different node. I mean, you can see the BucketFS system, but the access node doesn't behave the same way as the other nodes, so you won't get synchronization between nodes in the access node. So you would need to access through one other node.
So you would have to go to the admin UI of the access node specifically.
No, not the access node, the other nodes.
Okay.
Any other node where admin UI is enabled.
Okay.
All right. And I think last but not least, will scale up or down a cluster be supported via future version of the UI, the admin UI?
I mean, this is for on-prem, right? So in on-prem, currently we don't have that feature to dynamically scale up and scale down. This is available in the SaaS UI, and that is already available. So maybe I'm misunderstanding the question, but that is kind of out of scope for on-prem bare metal kind of installations. And that capability is already included in the SaaS admin UI. Any more questions?
For now, I'm not seeing any more questions.
Like I said, if you have any questions, please send me an email. I'm actually super eager to understand how you're using the admin UI, what feedback there is, what additional capabilities are already took a note. Restore from backup would be one, for example. And just to kind of learn more how you're going to use the admin UI. Yeah, thanks from my side. Thanks also to Pablo, and thanks also to the organizer, Robert and Emily. And I guess this will conclude the webinar.